Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the editor's reception at the SEG and APG Joint Annual Meeting, or the Image 21. It's a unique hybrid and in-person event brought forward by our two great societies. I am Vaishali Roy. I'm the outgoing Vice President of Publications on the SEG board, and I also manage the geophysics team at the ConocoPhillips Houston Center. It has been a great pleasure to serve in this position for the last 2 years. And together with many volunteers, reviewers, editorial boards, and most importantly, the SEG staff, we continue to publish high quality journals and hold high standards in our publication department that we are very proud of. I want to express my personal gratitude and a big thanks to Ted, Jennifer, Barbara, Steve, Kelly, Kelsey, and all others in the SEG Publications department. A big, big thanks. You are the best and you keep us going. Before diving into publication matters, I wanted to wish all those who are attending in person and virtually a safe and exciting meeting experience amidst this continuing pandemic threats. We have come a long way since last year through the vaccination programs and but we do continue to still have our guards up against the different variants. So mask up as needed. As last year, the editor's reception will not hold the best paper poster announcements, which will be part of the honors and award ceremony on Tuesday from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. So I encourage you to join that event on Tuesday and support our colleagues who have made the great contributions and hear about them. A few highlights from the world of publications, mostly changes and leadership changes and some achievements, and I would like to call out. So I will be completing my 2-year term as Vice President Publications, as mentioned. After this annual meeting, I will take the position of Publications Committee Chair, which is currently held by Dr. Sergei Fomel. Many thanks to Sergei for your contributions in the last 2 years and wish you all the best with your future SEG engagements. As you may already have noted, I will be succeeded by Dr. Jeff Strack from School of Mines, and who you also may know as the Geophysics EIC for the last couple of years. I want to thank Jeff for the very, very important contributions that you have made as the Geophysics EIC. And I'd also like to welcome Jeff to this new position on the board. So a big round of applause and a lot of thanks and gratitude to you, Jeff. A board-approved change was made in the geophysics editorial leadership structure to ensure more continuity in the leadership, the ease of responsibility, and also to allow faster succession. As such, at the start of the 2021 geophysics editorial cycle in August, the Senior Geophysics Editorial Board has moved into the new 3-person structure of the Senior Assistant Editor, the Editor-in-Chief, and the Past Editor, with individuals progressing through to spending 1 year at each position. With that said, Dr. John Edgen has taken the role of the Geophysics CIC, and Dr. Arthur Chang has taken the position of the Senior Assistant Editor, and Jeff will have a double role as the Past Editor. Some changes in Interpretation Editorial Board as well. Dr. Balazs Nemeth and Dr. Kurt Murfoot will roll out of the EIC and the Deputy Assistant Editor role, and will be succeeded by Dr. Siva Egorov and Dr. Brad Wallet, respectively. First of all, I want to send my huge thanks to Balazs and Kurt once again for your many, many contributions to the Interpretation Journal. And I'd like to welcome Seva and Brad to the new leadership position. And a big round of applause to both the incoming and outgoing leadership. For the leading edge, Dr. Yonggi Lee will continue to be the TLE editorial chair for 1 more year. And we welcome 2 new editorial board members, Neil Scrope from the University of Hawaii and Heather Beadle from the University of Oklahoma. Welcome to the board. A couple of accomplishments. So geophysics received its highest journal impact factor to date at 2.928. The leading edge achieved a record site score of 3.7, and interpretation reached 1378 total citations, which is almost an increase of 26% from last year. The latest results affirm the relevance, the timeliness, and the impact of published articles that brings value to our research communities. If you want to know more about the metrics, visit the SEG library for the individual journals. Seismic Sound Off had a best quarter in its history this year with a total of 7,845 downloads. January and February set records for the most downloads to date in 1 month. The podcast also secured sponsorship for all of 2021, and that was split between TGS and CGG. My personal thanks to TGS and CGG for supporting this program. The podcast is listened to daily and receives downloads from more than 50 countries monthly. SEG is now offering companies the opportunity to reach target audiences with branded podcast episodes through the Seismic Sound Off marketplace. So companies determine interviewees and the subject coverage, and the SEG provides resources to develop the episodes and distribute them through its network. So if you are interested, please reach out to Ted and Jennifer. With that, I will let the publications board and the different committee chairs say a few words. And once again, enjoy the great forum of Image 21. This is truly a geoscience event with a huge variety of technical content, panels, back sessions, exhibitions, networking opportunities, and whatnot. So enjoy. Cheers.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jeffrey Schrag, and I'm an associate professor in the Geophysics department at the Colorado School of Mines here in Golden, Colorado. Over the past 2 years, I have served as the editor-in-chief of Geophysics and the head of the Geophysics Editorial Board. It has been a very busy time in geophysics in 2020 to 2021. The journal reached our highest ever impact factor of 2.928, and we had the all-time highest number of submissions at 920. Because this level of submissions was deemed unsustainable for any single individual in the editor-in-chief role, the Geophysics Editorial Board proposed a modified structure for senior editors that was passed by the SEG board. The new structure involves progressing through 3 positions, each of 1 year duration. The first position is the senior assistant editor, who is responsible for handling all of the reject and resubmit decisions. This person is now nominated by a 5-person selection committee and then voted on by the SEG board of directors. The second position is the Geophysics Editor-in-Chief itself, a role filled by the senior assistant editor after completing the initial 1-year term. The editor-in-chief handles all acceptance decisions and handles editorial policy and any disciplinary matters, including probation. The third position is the past editor, a role filled by the retiring Geophysics Editor-in-Chief. The past editor works on mentoring new assistant and associate editors, drafting policy, and assisting with any disciplinary matters that may arise. Overall, the new structure mimics that of the SEG presidential system, with the president-elect, president, and past president, and should allow for greater flow-through of editorial talent, including a broader diversity of individuals at the highest level in the journal. I would like to recognize the volunteer efforts and the hard work of the assistant and associate editors on the Geophysics Editorial Board. I would also like to thank the SEG staff, Jennifer, Barbara, Callie, Elizabeth, and Ted, for their professionalism and all of their efforts to make the system function as well as it currently does. My time as Geophysics Editor-in-Chief is now over, and I have passed the baton to the very capable hands of now Editor-in-Chief John Etchen and Senior Assistant Editor Arthur Cheng. I know that the journal is in good hands, and I look forward to more great things coming out of geophysics and the Geophysics Editorial Board in the coming years. Thanks, and have a good meeting.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is John Etchen, and I'm the incoming editor of Geophysics for the 2021-2022 year, and it'll be an honor and a privilege to serve you in that role. My normal day job, I'm a scientific advisor for BP in all matters of geophysics. I've been associated with the editorial team at Geophysics since the early 2000s, where I started out as associate editor in some of the seismic categories, and then finally rising to the role of assistant editor a few years ago, and now finally taking on the editor role. The editorial term started in August 1st, and we're off to a good start. Lots of papers coming in, lots of good papers coming through. I've been enjoying reading them and progressing them on towards publication. So now maybe I'll just mention a few fun facts about the Geophysics Journal. Of course, I have the privilege of being joined by Senior Assistant Editor Arthur Chang and past editor Jeff Schrag, who will be around to help me with the journal for the next year. It's great to have Jeff, who's bringing his wisdom and knowledge of how the journal ran for the past couple of years. And it's great to have Arthur joining me as well to help handle all of the manuscripts that we get. As it turns out, we get about 1,000 manuscripts every year, and about 50% of those ultimately publish. So we actually are a pretty high volume journal now. Good news, in 2020, our impact factor turned out to be 2.928, which I believe is the highest impact factor the journal has ever achieved. So big congratulations to all of you as part of the editorial team, and certainly to Jeff for leading the journal during the time that we actually came up in the ranks of scientific journals. So fantastic. We have about 28 technical sections in the journal. And to cover all of those technical subject matters, we have about 90 associate editors. Of course, you play the key role in evaluating the scientific matter behind all of the submissions and ultimately making recommendations about whether we publish them or continue to work with them or ultimately maybe don't publish them. To help with interacting with all the authors and handling all of the workload of keeping the associate editors busy and happy and working productively on the journal, I have 7 assistant editors who work with me. Their services are absolutely indispensable as they handle the bulk of the work of running the journal during the phases when we're evaluating manuscripts. Also, excellent news, we have about 10 new associate editors coming in this term. Certainly a big welcome to you. I'm sure it seems exciting and maybe a little bit intimidating, but the assistant editors and Arthur and I are certainly happy to help you, and I think you also have the resources of Jeff Schrag to give you the best of his advice in how to be a good associate editor for the journal. Also, I'd like to say some big words of thanks to the journal staff. So thanks to Jennifer, Elizabeth, Barbara, and Callie. Obviously the journal doesn't run without you. Without your services, there really is no journal. I mean, the volunteers, we do a lot of the scientific work, but a lot of work behind the scenes goes into making this journal happen. And if it weren't for you, none of that stuff would happen. Particularly like to thank Callie for all of her help. She and I worked on many papers over the last couple of years where there were issues or things that, needed a little bit of a deeper investigation, and she was a big part of helping me through that. And Jennifer's been a huge help in getting me up and going as incoming editor. Lots of things that you learn only when you actually become the editor, and Jennifer's been helping me get up to speed on those. And been now working with Barbara and Elizabeth in the production phases of getting the papers that are accepted into their final publishable form. And so definitely thanks to you two for helping me make sure that we have all of that working as smoothly and efficiently as possible, and that the journal continues to be the high-quality journal that we all expect it to be.
Hello, my name is Balázs Németh. I'm the current editor-in-chief of the Interpretation Journal. As you are likely aware, Interpretation is the youngest of all SEG journals. It is 8 years old in this August. It has become an internationally well-known and recognized journal over these years. The journal is organized around special sections, but it also accepts standalone technical papers. Over the years, the number of technical papers submitted to the journal has been steadily increasing, and this trend continued this year also. There were many special sections published on the wide range of topics since the last convention, such as the one on gas hydrates or the one on cloud computing, just to name a few. One of the highlights of this year is that for the first time, special sections dedicated to papers from Africa and from Russia will be published. The journal also experimented with a new kind of special section, Interesting Features Seen on Seismic Data, also known as Funny-Looking Things on Seismic Data. In these special sections, the papers are required to be shorter and focused on some interesting seismic features. This section became so popular that it had to be changed to be a standalone section available for submissions year-round. One change that happened at the organizational structure of the journal is that a special section coordinator role was introduced. This person helps coordinating and keeping track of the special section submissions. This seems to be working well. The board will review this change in the coming meeting. I would like to thank the editorial board, the deputy editors, and the special section editors of the journal for volunteering their time and their effort, and also for their contribution this year. You are the engine of the journal. Thanks for keeping it running smoothly. I would like to thank also the reviewers who read the papers, provide their comments, and improve the manuscript. With this important work, they are ensuring the high technical and scientific standards of the SEG Publications. And finally, a big thank you from all of us volunteers at the journal to the SEG staff who makes all this happen, especially to Barbara, Elizabeth, Jennifer, and also Ted. Thank you very much for your professional work and keeping us on the track. This is my last year as editor-in-chief. The role is going to be taken over by Vsevolod Yekorov, Seva. I am wishing him and the journal great success for the next 3 years. Good luck. Thank you for your attention and enjoy the conference.
Hi, I'm Yun Li, Chair of the Editorial Board of the Leading Edge. In the past year, TLE has continued to publish a high number of cutting-edge peer-reviewed articles. We have published 12 special sections, with topics ranged from exploration and near-surface geophysics to new and emerging technologies that include basin exploration, mining geophysics, data processing and interpretation, AI and machine learning, distributed acoustic sensing, remote sensing, smart city geophysics, carbon storage, geothermal energy, and energy sustainability. We have made a concerted effort to stretch the boundaries of our editorial coverage, while still maintaining our focus on traditional areas of applied geophysics. This year, TLE received a CITE score of 3.7, which is a 23% increase from last year, a new record for us. It's due in large part to hard work of the editorial board that maintains TLE as a vital publication for both new and established authors. I thank all our editorial board members, our guest editors, and our many reviewers. I especially want to thank Ulrich Zimmer and Steve Sloan, who are completing their 4-year terms. I thank them for their dedication and putting in tremendous amount of time to maintain TLE's high quality. I would also like to thank Steve Brown, Kelsey Taylor, Ted Beckenjin, and Jennifer Kopp at the SEG office for all their efforts, without which we would not be able to achieve such success. I'm confident that TLE will continue to be strong in the year ahead, under the guidance of new and returning editorial board members that include Margarita Kozo, Chenbo Li, Mita Senkupta, Arpita Bhatia, and Chester Weiss. And I'm very much looking forward to another successful year ahead for the Leading Edge. Enjoy the conference. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lianjie Huang from Los Alamos National Lab. I'm the chair of the SEG Books Editorial Board. The SEG Books program is a crucial component in achieving the society's goals of being the go-to source for quality information on applied geophysics. Members of the SEG Books Editorial Board include Philip Armstrong, Ed Beecher, Bill Harper, Ian Jones, Wei Liu, Timon Yamoza, Liam O'Sullivan, Umair bin Wahi, and Inchai Jen. Together, we solicit and consider proposals and manuscripts from authors and editors, with all members serving as a managing editor for accepted proposal. To date, this year, we have published 2 new titles, One is land seismic case studies for near-surface modeling in subsurface imaging by Art Earmas, and the other is understanding amplitudes, basic seismic analysis for rock properties by Michael Burianic. Before the end of the year, we intend to complete 4 additional books, including 1 book on forensics data processing, a comprehensive gravity and magnetics dictionary, and 2 books on machine learning. We will also be busy next year. We are working with authors on books addressing distributed acoustic sensing, seismic attributes, and elastic waves. The books SEG published are essential resources for students, researchers, and practitioners. We are always interested in receiving new submissions for consideration. If you are interested in publishing a book with SEG or know someone who is, please contact me or Susan Stam at the SEG office, and we will help you through the process. I would like to thank the SEG Books editorial board member for their volunteer efforts, and the SEG Books program manager, Susan Stam, for her outstanding work again this year. Thank you for your attention.
Hello again. As the incoming VP of Publications on the SEG Board of Directors, I would like to thank the SEG membership for their support of my candidacy for this position. It is an honor to be elected to this important role, and I look forward to working with the other board members on the many complex challenges that are before us as a professional society. I'd like to thank the outgoing VP of Publications, Vaishali Roy, for all of her hard work and policy successes over the past 2 years in the publications portfolio, and I look forward to engaging with her during the handover period. Thanks again, and have a good meeting.